Welcome back to Dish It with Des. It's been a minute.
It's been an extra week.
Yeah, we did not get to record 2 episodes ago of Vanderpump Rules.
Yes.
So tonight we are going to be covering the past 2 episodes in one podcast. So this might be a little bit longer than normal. We're going to try to keep it direct.
Try to keep it short. There wasn't too much crazy shit going on.
No,
we're kind of going to focus on like the interesting stuff.
Well, and this is the thing. I'm over all the stuff that was supposed to be interesting because we know what is about to come. And like, honestly, none of this stuff seems to matter.
No.
And we're just ready for like the next episode, the actual finale.
Was supposed
and the reunion.
Well, right.
I'm more looking forward to the reunion more than anything else. So Steve is, as usual, going to lead the way. Oh, and just real quick, I want to thank you all so much for voting for me for Supermom. I got so far, but I did not make it to like the latest round. So I made it into the top 5, and I placed it 3rd.
Yep.
So.
You did great.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for all your help.
I just wanted to say thank you because I know a lot of you did vote for me, and I do appreciate it. Even though I did not win, it was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a cool experience.
Yeah. We'll try again next year.
Maybe next year.
All right. Let's get going.
Let's get going. But before we get going, make sure you subscribe.
Yeah.
Like this podcast, then give me a thumbs up. If you don't like it, thumbs down. That's why they have both of them. I want to know feedback.
Yeah, and we don't care if you hate us. You can hate us.
Yeah, you
can
hate us.
I actually thrive off of that, so that's cool.
We're not going to change what we're doing.
No,
but feel free to give your comments.
Yeah, good or bad. And I'll probably tell you to fuck off.
Probably.
I've done that quite a few times in the comments already.
So we're going to get started with the first episode from 2 weeks ago.
So, like, I haven't refreshed my memory on it. So, like, whatever notes you have, I'll just have to
kind of go off of it.
Yeah, we'll just have to see what happens. I don't know if I remember.
So the name of the episode was Lady and the Glamp.
Yeah. I remember the camping trip.
Right. Gotcha. So this is where they all go glamping. I wouldn't really call it glamping. It was camping. It was still really
The place was really cool.
It was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was the Toms, Raquel, Ariana, and Brock and Sheena. They all went together to celebrate Raquel's birthday.
Yeah.
The big new friend group.
Well, it kind of felt like everyone was coupled up, and like in a normal scenario, I would have been loving this. Like, oh, Brock and Sheena, Tom and Ariana, and then Schwartz and Raquel. I love this, but it's hard to love it.
I mean, they all seem to have a good time. You know, it is what it is.
The one thing
trip. They're in, what are they called? Utes? I think they're called.
What?
They're like tents, but I think they're called utes.
What?
I might have to look that up.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
So I lost my whole train of thought because of the Utes.
The Utes.
The one thing that has stuck out to me in both of these episodes we're about to cover, and I just want to say it from the start, is how much Raquel is saying how she loves this friend group. Like, these are the people she's closest with, and she doesn't know like what she would do without them and stuff. And that's been a little bit hard for me to wrap my head around because, like, you know, like pre-Scandival, I loved it too. I was glad that she kind of found her way a little bit post-James, but like, it's bugging me so much because like she's really saying how good of a friend Ariana is and how close they are, and that's like her best friend, and so like, it's been really hard for me to hear that narrative and like. Yeah,
kind of over and over again. How
it's like it's almost like she's like
she loves Tom.
It's like overkill how much she's saying that like these are my core friends, and like I don't know. I just am having a really hard time every time she says it.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's move on.
All right. So in the beginning of this episode, while they're doing their camping or glamping in their utes, back in LA, Lala is working on her cosmetic line. They're doing like a little event, I guess, towards it.
Yeah.
And Lala starts talking to James about the beach day in Sandoval and how she said that Raquel had slept at Sandoval's house.
Well, yeah, we saw Ken drop that bomb when Katie was at the house. Like, I guess Katie brought some stuff over and she wanted Ken and Lisa to try some of these sandwiches that they're making. And it was freaking Ken that like...
Ken, y'all.
He wasn't the one that I was expecting to with the match, but he like came up to Lisa and was like, I can't believe that Raquel spent the night as Sandoval's, and Ariana's out of town. And like, yeah, I agree with what he's saying. That's a major red flag. It just, I wasn't expecting the tidbit of information to come from Ken, but I love Ken for that. Like, they call Sheree the bone collector on Atlanta. And like, I kind of felt like Ken was a bone collector a little bit.
But do you think this was like really something that Ken found out? Or do you think this was something that he was told to say?
We will never know. Ken could be petty Betty. Remember? Like when they were on BH, remember like, goodbye, Kyle. Goodbye, Kyle. Like Ken can very much be like one of like the petty bitches.
That's true.
How Ken got this tidbit of information, I don't think that he discovered it authentically. We'll just say that.
Right.
I think it was kind of like planted, even if it was just a production, not like saying like, hey, say this, but even if it was someone in production being like, hey man, did you see that Raquel spent the night at Sandoval's? And he would have been like, what? Like, you got to remember, like, production is a big part of the cast too, even though we don't see them. These are the same people that they're always working with. And that's like a lot of like when shows end, a lot of people are like sad because they're not going to see a lot of the production people anymore, right? Camera, lighting, all these people that are in their houses every day.
Right.
So you have to think that there are some relationships there that have formed, and
or something he may have just overheard other people talking about.
That's the thing, like, and production knows what they're doing, and production, I definitely think, was onto this well before. I think that they wanted it to come out as authentically as possible, so I don't think that they played too much of a part in like making things happen, but I'm not going to say that seeds weren't planted in order for it to come out, you know?
Right. Well, Lisa,
or at least to put someone onto it. Because Lala feels real suspect about it too. Like, you can tell that she is like, I think Sandoval has a thing for Raquel and whatever. And it's like, I can't help but think, did the same kind of situation happen with her? Where like a production member was like, hey, like, what's going on with this? Because they know Lala will take it and run with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They know their characters and they know. And that's why I feel like they kind of set up for James and Lala to have this lunch. Because she was mentioning it to James, and James was like, oh my God, like, if that is true, like, that's going to be, because they knew if Lala had the info, Lala would tell James, and they're the two that can make this the production that it needs to be. I mean, James Kennedy is really all we need. Poo-poo heads. Love it.
Love it. All right, so once this bomb was dropped, Lisa asked Raquel.
Yeah.
And she...
Well, she was late.
Right.
That's how they figured it out, right?
She showed up late to
So it wasn't,
she showed up late to work.
To work, right.
And then Lisa asked her
why. And she mentioned that, yes, because she spent the night at Sandoval's, and her and the Toms went in the hot tub and blah, blah, blah.
And then, like, they flashed back to that. And then Lisa was like, well, I'm calling Sandoval. So while Katie is in the house and Ken and everybody is there, she calls Tom. And Tom is acting super weird.
As he has been.
And he's calling Lisa, dude. He's like, oh, come on, dude. Oh,
she's like,
dude,
I'm not your dude.
And you could tell he's like a little distraught, or
you can tell
he's caught off guard, definitely.
I feel like you could tell with even like the start of the unraveling of Sandoval was like Katie mentioning like, oh, but you like to stay out at the Abbey. And I feel like that was the start of it.
Right.
And now I feel like every episode we're getting this snowball effect of Sandoval unraveling.
Yeah.
And kind of, you can see the downward spiral happening right in front of your eyes, especially in these two episodes, I felt.
I totally agree.
Because you could tell that he's starting to realize that people are onto it.
He's trying his best to play it off.
He is coming off
as much as he can.
He's coming off so douchey and angry.
Well, yeah, you could tell it's taking a toll on him because of the way
his looks.
His looks.
Do you notice
his reactions to people?
Like, he's aged so much just in these past few episodes. Like, he truly does. He looks like he's like gone off the deep end almost. Yeah. He always was like super put together, and I feel like he's looking a bit of a mess. And it makes sense as to why, but, you know, I'm noticing not just a change in his behavior, but in the way that he looks recently.
So after this scene, they flash back to the ranch, and they're partying, and they're having a good time. Yeah. This is where you were saying how Raquel saying that, like, you're my forever friend. She, like, sits down there all together. This speech that she did
was, like, cringeworthy.
Whatever. It was said. It's not really that important. They did have a very awkward convo about Raquel sleeping over after the Labor Day party with all of them together. With Ariana
and Ariana
was
was even like, "Oh my God, it's like not a big deal.
Yeah.
Like you do this all that. Like you always like."
And
it's normal for you to spend the night and whatever. So it's like, this is where I will always go back to classic narcissistic behavior, though, because it's almost like Sandoval has like groomed Ariana to be accepting of
something like that.
Like
of
almost like,
over,
yeah, like I almost feel like maybe it happened like quite a few times when she was around. Like, oh, Raquel, don't drive. You've been drinking. Like, just spend the night, so that if she was out of town, it wouldn't seem shady. Because if it was like, if she had never spent the night before, Ariana would probably be like, why the hell did Raquel spend the night? But it's like she's played it off. She's been seasoned and groomed to feel like this is normal behavior, even though she didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Because she was way too accepting of it.
Right.
I mean, even if I'm just putting myself in that position, like we've said before, like we have like friends that we're super close with. It would be very weird if like, even my best friend, if she spent the night here and I wasn't here.
Yeah, it would be very weird.
You know what I mean? And like, not like I don't trust you or I don't trust her, but it would just be weird. Like, she's my girlfriend.
Right.
So like, why would she be here if I'm not?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So it's a lot of weird stuff happening.
Yeah.
And it only gets worse.
Yeah.
So,
unfortunately.
Katie and Lala and Christina are all shooting photos for Lala's book.
Yeah.
I think Sheena and Ariana
or
are there.
The beauty. Was it the book or the beauty line? Was it the book?
It was the book because they had the book. They were
in the bed with like the towels on their heads. Yeah.
So and Sheena and Ariana go and talk like by themselves, and Sheena's talking about people are saying how they have like this open relationship. Right. And Ariana backs up. It's like says no, like we don't have that type of relationship.
Yeah, I think Sheena and Ariana are actual best friends, have been for a long time, and like just like she brought it up to Sandoval at the beach, like, hey, this is kind of like the narrative. Like I feel like now that Ariana's back from her grandmother,
she brings it up to her.
Yeah, and she's telling her like, just so you know, this is like what's being said. And Ariana completely shut it down.
Yeah.
Like that is not true. Like, and
but I think she's also not like Ariana's not. I don't want to say she's not putting the pieces together. Like we can see it from the outside. Well, but she doesn't really see it.
Even if she had a feeling, like, and it's obvious she had a feeling.
Right.
But
she's standing up for Raquel constantly. She's saying how loyal she is and how sweet and kind.
But she
like
probably,
she's our best friend.
Like, I don't think she connected that it was Raquel, you know?
Right. I don't know.
I know. It's really sad. It's really, really hard to watch, honestly. It's been like a struggle. Because, like, I personally feel like the most connected to Ariana. So, like, if this was happening to, like, Katie, I would be like, whatever. You know? But I feel like because it's Ariana, like, I feel like I'm so much like her as a person. So, like, I just can't help but think of, like, it happening to me and, like, how she feels. And that, like, empathy in me is like my heart every time she like something like this happens, like where she's sticking up for her and saying how nice she is, because I know she truly thought that and believed it.
Right.
So it's really like I'm internally struggling, like, because I know how much of a blow this had to be for her. I think if it was somebody else, she wouldn't have cared as much. Like, even if he went back and like hooked up with Dodie, I don't think she would even care as much as like, just because they're so close currently. Yeah.
So after that little talk during dinner, you could see, well, they're doing like Raquel's birthday dinner. She said a toast for her own birthday.
Yeah.
Which I thought was weird.
Very pageant of her, but okay.
But
very pageant girl.
The camera made sure to show Tom's reaction to everything. That it was focused like Tom, Raquel, Ariana.
And he's so giddy. Ariana, Raquel. Like, that's the word.
He's got like the happy, he's like happy and
like
love
a little like
look.
Like the puppy dog, like like that, like that's how he's that's how he acts with her. And now with Schwartz making that comment on Watch What Happens Live, like that he like is almost like addicted to her.
Yeah, he's like her a drug.
Yeah,
pretty much.
And that is literally how he's looking at her.
Yeah,
and like to me, I'm wondering how Ariana didn't catch on to that, because I kind of felt like she did catch on to it in that moment where he was like, Raquel, and she was like, Tom, stop, you're being so annoying, like a few episodes back. Like, why are you saying Raquel, remember?
Yeah.
So I felt like she like maybe started to catch on then with the butt slap, which by the way, I found another video of that where it's more visible.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, Ben sent it to me, I'll show you later. But I'm wondering in these moments how she didn't
that's what I mean. I feel like she's so like
well, and you got to
not
think
blind,
too,
but she has so much going on.
right?
In her life,
with her dog dying, her grandmother dying,
everybody.
like it was just like the perfect storm, because I think she was just distracted enough
to not
for him
really
to get away with it.
That's why I kind of said like she's not really putting the pieces of all of this
Yeah,
together.
she was
Everybody's like approaching her, asking her about these questions. Like normally you'd be like, wait a minute,
if two people,
why are y'all asking me about this?
If one person asked me, are we in an open relationship? I would be like, who told you that?
Right.
Instantly, I'd be like, and then I would be like, why? Why
Right.
would
Why
somebody
is
think? And
that
then I would be
brought
coming
up?
at you like, why are people saying this? Like, I would never like just be like, oh no. I would be like, why would people think we're in an open relationship? Like, what are you doing?
Right.
Because I ain't doing nothing. So what are you doing that's making it look like that? Like, I instantly, but it's weird too, because we'll get to it later, but the conversation with Lala at the bar, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
I think it's really, she's just so distracted from everything else. It's the only thing, because she's a smart girl. Like, we're talking like this isn't an idiot here.
Yeah.
Like, she's very smart, very like, sees through things. She's not naive at all. So I think it was just a perfect storm of like distraction.
Right. So there's a couple scenes happen between that. Like James and Allie are talking. They
a lot of their scenes are very not important.
No, it's kind of. I mean, I get it. Like they're showing everybody's little.
Yeah, but it's not relevant to the stories
Right.
that are happening. I like seeing James and Allie though, because right now they seem like the most stable ones on the television.
Yeah, which is surprising for James.
Allie seems just so level-headed though.
She does.
She's bringing a different dynamic, which I don't mind, and James really
Right.
needs that. Like, I love James, like, but I do think he needs someone who grounds him a little bit.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like their scenes are a little bit boring. And as much as I'm like, I like to see James like throwing the drink at Schwartz, like that's the James I love.
Right.
I also love the stability for him.
So like the next
Ew,
major.
did you just burp?
Oh, I did. I'm sorry.
It smells like a bossy.
Well, I need to get a drink, so I'm gonna open my can of Swoon.
Yeah, so I'm
This is
drinking some Swoon too.
A new beverage that we
Cheers.
got.
It's with monk fruit. The person that actually created this, I think, was diabetic.
Yes, it was created by a diabetic.
Yeah.
5 calories, no sugar.
Yeah.
They have iced tea.
It's good. I'm drinking the peach tea, and what do you have, the half
This
and half?
is the half and half iced tea lemonade, and there's also a sweet tea.
It's very good. I really do like it.
Yeah, it is.
I'm
It's
into
good.
it. And we don't have diabetes, by the way, but
No, not yet anyway.
but I do have PCOS, which they consider you like pre-diabetic. Mm-hmm. So like I am supposed to be avoiding like the bad sugars as much as possible. So if I can make a better choice, I sure will.
It's really good. Mm-hmm. Grab it on Amazon. We'll put a link in the description.
I'll link it below for you guys.
All right, so it seems like everybody in this like friend group has their own little like cosmetics or skincare.
Yeah, well,
Christina
you make
Kelly-
a little bit of money.
Yeah.
And you have to remember, you're probably not going to be a reality star forever. So what are you
Gotta
going to
do
fall back
something.
on? Yeah, and they say like the best thing to do is like start a business or invest.
Right.
Yeah, because she has like her little skincare line.
Yeah.
Lala has her cosmetics and like her book, and everybody has their little thing going on.
So she's throwing a little event at Tom Tom for the
Yeah, I thought it
her
was a
skincare
little bit
line.
weird that she had it there, but
Yeah.
because she's
weird.
like she's like up Katie's cooch as much as she can be, but like you're gonna go have it at like her ex-husband's.
Yeah.
I don't know,
It was
like she
weird.
couldn't have had it at Sir. Like she used to work at Sir.
Yeah.
I don't know, and also just like I'm not here for Christina Kelly's comeback.
No. I'm not at
She
all.
was so boring back in the day that it's like we don't need like honestly bring like Dodie like don't bring Dodie back because of the racist stuff. I don't agree with what she did, but like bring someone back that had like some spark.
Yeah. Maybe.
It sucks
or find
because
somebody new.
all the fun people did like dumb racist shit. So now like I don't think they should come back, but they need to find somebody similar to like a
Yes.
Jax.
Yes.
I mean, I feel like James is a good,
James is a good close second.
but like we don't need to bring back like the boring old people,
Right.
you know?
So the only reason I brought this up was because of awkward Tom Schwartz. How I love his awkwardness right now in these past episodes.
Honestly, yeah, like the whole half of this season so far.
He just thinks like it's a good idea to like keep trying. He approaches Katie to see if she wants some drinks, and she literally ignores his existence.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't understand it.
Well, and the problem with that from the start was like, they're not going to be able to be friends.
No.
And I
think Katie still wants to be friends, though. But, like, she says unless he apologizes, nothing will ever change.
This is why I can't stand Katie. Everything's on her terms. And, like, listen, I don't know. I do feel, like, more empathetic towards Schwartz. Because
he's made some dumb choices, but like,
so has she. Like, they both were toxic for each other.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that there was blame more on one side. I think the blame was equal, and I think the reason why people are more empathetic towards Schwartz is because Katie is such a mega bitch. So it's hard to sympathize with somebody who's like, for me, she's like unbearable. Like, I'm ready to fast forward through her scenes because like, since the start of the show, all she has done is complain and whine. And it's like, she's never evolved, I feel like. She's still the same character that she was back when he poured a drink on her in Mexico. And, like, I kind of am ready for him to do it again. That's where I'm at with her. And with Schwartz, like, he just has, like, that likability. Even when he messes up, you're just, like, kind of still like, come on, Schwartz. Like, get it together, you know? But I adore awkward Schwartz.
I love awkward Schwartz.
And that's the thing about Schwartz. I think he needs to find somebody who loves that about him, because I feel like she hated that about him.
Oh, she totally
he's very complacent. Like, he's not going to be that guy that's like going to stick up for you. So you know what? You need to be able to listen. I could be with Schwartz, because I'll be like, I don't need you to stick up for me. I'm gonna stick up for us both. And he needs to find someone like that, which you would think Katie could be that.
She
but
could.
she doesn't really stick up for him.
No.
Like, that's the thing. Like, it's always just like, woe is me, that she can't get out of her own ass. And like, seeing more of her mom, it's obvious where she gets it from.
So I think it was still at this event also, Ariana and Katie. Well, Katie takes Ariana away to talk to her.
Yeah, because
privately.
Because Sheena, like, flat out said, like, Katie is the one pretty much creating this narrative. And Ariana had said that, like, do I think that Katie didn't say it? Like, I think she said it.
Yeah, she definitely said it.
Like, and...
But she wants
Katie's
she
not going to admit it.
She's like, why are you saying that we have an open relationship?
Yeah, well, she's like, we're going into this business together, and I want to, like, make sure, like,
that we're
good, because,
we
like,
trust each other.
Yeah, because, like, if we're going into business together, I don't really want to go into business with somebody who would be, like, trying to tarnish my relationship.
Right.
And this is also why I love Ariana, because most women would not have had this, like, level-headed conversation. Like, I would have gone into it a bit heated. I know I would have, personally. And she just always approaches everything with, like, such grace. And I don't know how she does it, honestly. Because, like...
It's just her personality.
And, like...
If it's not within your personality to do that, like, it's just not.
No, and I just don't even understand how she could go into that conversation not even, like, a little bit heated. Like, she just was so pleasant.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if that was me, not that I would have, like, ripped her head off, especially if this is my friend who I'm going into business with. I wouldn't, but I would, like, have at least been like, yo, why? Like, what is wrong with you? I mean, like, I know it came from you, and you have to fess up.
And she did.
She didn't. She was like, I never said that.
Oh,
like,
yeah. She said, well, I may have said, she kind of beat it around the bush a little bit.
I got the vibe that she, like, pretty much denied it. I don't know.
Well, she said something about because somebody said something about they had rules and this. But
didn't she flat out say, like, I don't think you do? It's just like.
Oh, that's what I heard.
Mm-hmm. It's always what people heard. But don't repeat the rumors.
Yeah.
If it's your friend, especially, listen, you don't like the person, whatever, repeat the rumors. But you don't like the person, that's fine. This is your friend.
Yeah.
So, like, for me, I would be like, nah, that's my friend. Like, that's not true. Or, like, even if I knew it was true, I would be like, you know what? That's their business and no one else's.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be, like, perpetuating it, you know?
But, I mean, Ariana kind of stood up for Raquel again and said that she's said, I trust and I love Raquel.
Yeah, she's like, I know that you guys...
my boyfriend.
...have, like, an issue, and I don't want that to become, like, our issue.
Right. So, she, she's being talked to by a lot of people.
Yeah.
And then...
I also wonder, like, how much time is in between these episodes? You know what I mean? Like, it can't be that much.
No, it's probably
because I'm going back to the fact that like Ariana's not dumb,
right?
So it's like I feel like if this was like going on for months, she would have had like a little bit of a light bulb. Like maybe I have a concern here, but it couldn't have been that long.
And probably with recording, like doing like all this stuff that's going on, it's probably very hectic.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like they're just going about their day, but it's probably very hectic.
Yeah, well, like when you see them wake up in the morning, I mean, come on. Like, the cameras aren't just there, right? The whole production crew has to come in. Yeah. Like, nobody really looks like that. I remember Kyle saying from Beverly Hills that, like, the very first season of Beverly Hills, when she was on it, like, they were going to, like, one of the first scenes or something was, like, going to be her, like, waking up in the morning. She goes, and I remember I went out and bought, like, silk pajamas. She goes, and I usually wear, like, a ratty t-shirt to bed. Like, that's not what I look like in the morning. Like, I don't go into my kids' rooms like, good morning, honey. Like, you know, so you have to understand it is a little bit staged because it's not, they're definitely not just rolling out of bed. Like, you got to at least let the production crew and you had to get up.
Yeah.
You know, so, yeah, it's definitely a little bit of a process going into it. It seems like this is just what they're doing, but it is a little bit more than that.
So the last thing that kind of happened in this episode is that Lala and Ariana are talking now.
Was this the part I was talking about? At the bar, or no?
Yeah, it is. Okay. Where Ariana's saying how hard she's taking everything. And then Lala brings up the Labor Day party.
Yeah.
And then this is where she kind of calls Tom out.
Well, she says, she goes, I don't...
not leaving the Labor Day party when he was
Well, she says to Lala, like, I'm going to call him over because I'm not going to speak for him and he needs to speak for himself. Like, he needs to be held accountable for himself.
Right.
So she's like, I guess what happened was... she found out her grandma died, right? Mm-hmm. And
she called
Sandoval said he couldn't... his friend who drove him left and he couldn't get a ride back when she called. But Lala was like, that's not true because Jason was still here when you got the call. Like, I was standing there with both of you. Right. And you even said, like, Ariana's pissed at me. So, and that's what Lala had the problem with because... it wasn't like the dude left and he really couldn't get a ride. Like, the guy was still there and he could have. He didn't want to leave.
Right.
And Ariana is kind of sweeping that under the rug. Like, blatantly sweeping it under the rug. Like, I don't really care about it. Is what she's saying. And which is...
it's odd because, like, why would she sweep that? She called him because her grandmother died. And in the past...
that's not something you should sweep under the rug.
No,
like,
in the past, he would drop whatever he was doing
and
he would be there for her.
And who said it? Was it Lala who was like, if you needed him to be there for you in that moment, it's okay for you to say to him, I needed you in this moment and you weren't there. Mm-hmm. And I almost I don't understand why she's like not doing that. She is being a little bit complacent and it's just weird because I don't know why.
I feel like she's kind of confused as to why everybody is like questioning everything all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And
I do think it's because of like she has so much going on. I think if we took those aspects out of the equation, I think that she would have handled it differently.
More questions probably would have come up from her. Like,
she's
why
probably
is all this
so
happening?
numb. That's what I'm thinking. Like, she's probably so numb, like in the moment right now, that it's just hard for her to even think about anything else or process anything else. You gotta stop burping, man.
Sorry, I'm trying to do it.
Thank God we don't smell vision.
So that's the end of that episode. We already made it through.
Oh, nice. All
That's
right.
done.
Yeah, that was a boring episode.
It wasn't much going on. This one, like, there's some stuff too.
This next one was better, but like, if there was no Scandival, this would have been a good, like, this original finale episode would have been a decent one. But like, I'm just ready. I'm just like, cut enough of this bullshit, you know?
All right. So the next episode, there's something about her. Mm-hmm. I'm guessing that's in reference to Raquel.
No, that's the name of Ariana and Katie's restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
Something about her.
Yeah, because their party.
Do you even watch the show?
Nah.
Did you look at... They had this event with signs, and she was even showing Tom the logo.
It says there's something about her.
No, it's called Something About Her. Even, like, the mini logo was, like, SAH.
Oh, I didn't see the mini logo. I was probably too busy like this.
Taking notes. Okay, so that's going to be the name of their sandwich shop.
Good to know.
Okay, filling you in.
So yeah, they're planning a little, like a preview party, just kind of to show people their space. They don't really have anything in there. It's very empty. The kitchen's nothing's set up, nothing's ready.
Just to pique interest.
Yeah.
But their sandwiches, this is the one good thing about the girls. Good. Their menu is complete. Like, these people showed up to this party and the sandwiches are there. Ariana had a cocktail ready to go. She was
making drinks.
Like, and I said to you, I'm like, okay, so Sandoval is like the best bartender ever. So like, bro, you can't sling some drinks? You can't get some drinks ready for the bar? Like, Ariana had a whole pitcher mixed up and their sandwiches are complete. And haven't we said that from the beginning? You have to have your menu and then you do the restaurant. You don't design the whole restaurant looking like a whole mushroom and acid trip and then, but we don't have kitchen staff and we don't have a menu and we don't have drinks. Isn't that the whole point?
$1 million into it. Maybe we should get a menu.
The point, because you're supposed to be feeding people and giving them drinks. That is the purpose.
Yeah.
You're like sectional and rooftop are not the focus. They're ass backwards.
They
are. Sandoval is very distracted, and Schwartz has no clue what he's doing.
Nope.
So that's why they are where
Schwartz
they are.
Just following Sandoval, and Sandoval has
Schwartz
no idea.
is panicking though.
He is.
Because I think that the Toms have a very toxic relationship. I saw a meme that was actually like, who would have ever thought that the Toms had a more toxic friendship than any of the people in Real Housewives? And now I think we're really starting to see just how dysfunctional their friendship is because Schwartz can't really hold Sandoval accountable. No. And he just gets steamrolled for sure, and then he's just stressed out. And Sandoval just thinks he's like a gift from God, and there's nothing better than him. And I'm ready for Schwartz to like come out from behind Sandoval's shadow. And I'm kind of hoping that with Sandoval and Schwartz's divorce, that he starts to find a way to separate himself from Katie and Tom, and we start to see him flourish. And
him be like himself, like his own person.
Yes, because I feel like he's constantly living in everybody else's shadow, and I feel like Schwartz I think he has so much potential.
Yeah.
And he's just never really had to use it. And he's going to have to now. He doesn't have Katie to lean on, and he sure as hell doesn't want to be crutching off of Sandoval right now. Mm-hmm. Like, that's not going to be what he wants to do, so he's going to have to find a way to come into his own. I'm here for it. I'm ready for it. Anyway, what happened in this episode?
Well, after this first scene where, like, they were talking about their party. This is the good stuff. So, remember that necklace that Sandoval was wearing?
And we knew Raquel had a lightning bolt necklace. So we just assumed, like, I think everyone assumed that maybe they like bought them together.
Yeah.
And it was like their little secret thing. Nah, man, she's just a stan for Sandoval because she bought this shit for herself.
Yes.
And it was like expensive.
It wasn't. She
like
bought
$800 or something.
It was like a little diamond and like gold chain. Her and Charlie were out shopping.
Yeah.
And she saw this little necklace.
And poor Charlie is like, it's your birthday, treat yourself. Like, she had no idea what the hell she was getting herself into. And
inside Raquel's head, she was like, oh, I'm going to buy this because it matches Tom's, and I love Tom. Oh,
I really thought that, like, maybe he bought it for her. So the fact that she bought it for herself is so weird. What a fucking weirdo, man. Right?
Yeah. Just to, like, show Tom, like, oh, I bought the same necklace.
You know what, though? This is so random. I am so glad her and James didn't work out. Because I love James Kennedy. And the Raquel we thought we knew, I was, like, bummed. Because I was like, oh, she's so sweet, and that's sad. Like, I really liked her for James. But now that we're seeing who the fuck she really is, thank God. Because if she would have ruined the love of my life, James is, like, I love him so much. And I would have probably personally, like, found her and punched her in the face over it. So just thank God that James dodged that bullet.
So after that, the Toms are talking at Schwartz and Sandy's, and Sandoval is saying, like, him and Ariana are becoming a little distant.
He was definitely creating a narrative.
It seems like she doesn't really like him anymore.
And listen, he's annoying, so I can understand why she seems annoyed by him all the time. Also, you know, we see later them talking, and Ariana said it before, like, he doesn't really make it a point to spend time with her, so she's not going to want to just, like, hook up with him, like, if he's not spending time with her. And I feel like he's, like, complaining, like, oh, we're distant, and she seems annoyed by me. She probably is annoyed. And Ariana's like me. We don't hide our feelings well, so it's like, you can't just come home and be all nice after, like, you haven't spent time with me in how long?
Right.
And look, he didn't even come home when her grandma, like, there's a lot of things. So, yeah, I'm sure she is annoyed. So, and men, if you're listening, just take a mental note. If your girlfriend, your fiance, your wife seems annoyed, take a look in the mirror. Because you know, 100% you're doing something that she's just not vocalizing, but she ain't annoyed for no reason.
Right.
That's for damn sure. And like we have good communication. So I feel like we've gone through spells where it's like, you're not really like being romantic towards me. And so like I need, like, you know, you have to be able to voice what you need.
Right.
And a lot of people don't. I'm good at that.
And you also can't just deflect and like say,
and make
excuses like,
right.
I'm not doing that. But, or you start saying, well, you're doing this, or you're
right.
not.
It's not tit for tat. You have to
what it is.
Yeah.
And, you know, try to fix it. But like,
yeah, like just listen. And that's the thing. Like, he's definitely not listening to her because
he starts crying and says, I just want us to be better.
That pissed me off so much because I'm thinking like in this moment when he's talking to Schwartz and he's like, later on with talking to her.
Yeah, that was the next scene.
Yeah, so like how he's like, I just want us to be close and I want, like, so what if Ariana was like, okay, then like we're doing, like, what if they started to connect again? Was he just gonna Raquel and just, how was that gonna go down? I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out this thought process of like, what was Sandoval thinking?
I don't know.
I don't think he was, but it's like,
I feel like it was part of, like when I saw
it's part of being a narcissist.
It is. And it's part of his thought process where he said he was planning on breaking up with her. I think he's trying to like put like groundwork in to show her like this relationship isn't working. That way when he does wind up breaking up with her. Stop being a pussy
and just break up. Yeah. If you're not happy, because in this conversation with her, he genuinely seems like
distraught.
Like he can't believe that they're like falling like apart like this. And that's why I'm like, okay, so what was your game plan if you started to fall back together?
Right.
Because y'all are friends with Raquel. It's not like some rando that he found that he can just be like, listen, I can't talk to you anymore because we're good now.
Right.
This is like, you would be able to sense this if he cut stuff off with Raquel.
It seems like they're both on different paths because when they're talking about she's saying we don't spend quality time together.
Yeah.
His thoughts of quality time,
he wants to like go out and get shit faced.
Far different from hers.
She's a homebody, always has been. And
she wants them to cook dinner together and like watch a movie,
shows together. And he's like, why? And she doesn't want to go out and get drunk with him.
Right.
And Raquel, I mean, Sandoval's like 40, like 40 or 42-ish. I don't know. He's 40-ish, and Raquel's way younger. Mm-hmm. And he has this Peter Pan syndrome. So like, age-wise, he should feel more comfortable, especially with like opening up a business. Like, you should be working on your business and then just coming home.
Right.
Resting and ready to go the next day for your business. This is why the restaurant isn't open. Because he's going out and partying every night instead of getting work done. So, like, if he would live his life like an actual adult, it would be different.
It probably would.
And that's what she's like, I don't want to just go out and, like, get drunk. Like, and especially with what she's going through. Mm-hmm. And I know for, like, I don't drink at all. But I have in the past. And I know in situations where I felt more anxious or like a little bit depressed. Like alcohol really is not good for that.
Not the best
Most
answer.
people use it to cover up or forget about how they're feeling. But like I feel like Ariana is pretty self-aware, and that's probably also a reason why she doesn't want to go out and get drunk, because she knows it's not going to fix anything.
Yeah.
And she has to just like stay home and deal with her emotions and work through it. And it just sucks that he's not there for her. Because, like, if that's what she needs in the moment, then he needs to come home every night and be there for her.
Right. Yeah, this was a big scene where they were talking
I just don't understand why she didn't put her foot down more. Like, you can't go out anymore. Probably because she knows he would never listen.
No. It'd probably make it worse, and he would be pushed away more.
I wouldn't be able to do that. Like, I would be like, here's the ultimatum. You're not going out anymore. How about that? And if you want to go out, get the fuck out. For good. Like, I mean, that's just how, you know, you're stuck with me, so you know damn well what that would be like. But look how great your life is. If you didn't have someone holding you accountable, you would probably be a disaster too.
I'd be in a gutter somewhere.
Yeah, man. You would be out, like, you probably, number one, you probably wouldn't be alive these days if you stayed on the path that you were on when you were younger.
One matted dreadlock, like, stuck off the side of my head. Like, that's probably where I'd be, talking to myself and
But, like, you have to find someone that is good for you.
Right.
In balance. Just like you're good for me. Like, you're my calm.
Yeah.
And I keep you kind of, like, level-headed on a good path. And I just don't understand why he couldn't get his shit together. Like, who would have thought Jax would have such a normal life?
I mean, he turned 44.
I mean, he was older than them.
He was
from
in
the
his
start.
40s a few years ago.
But, like, he doesn't go out and party anymore. He, like, I'm actually really proud of his growth. I really am. Because he was I was like, oh, he's going to cheat on Brittany for the rest of her life. That's going to be that. Like, they're never going to last. Like, I was definitely, I mean, look at his track record. So it's like, who would have ever thought? And I hoped, because Brittany was nice. So I was like, oh, I really hope he doesn't, like, screw her over. But it's just weird to see Jax living such a normal life and the Toms are a disaster. You know? Because they always seem like they had it more together than Jax did.
It seems like they did.
It's just interesting how it all switched.
Yeah.
And Jax, I told you before, he called it all along. Like, he said Sandoval was an asshole from, like, the start.
So, after this scene, we have a little bit more lighthearted.
Thank God, because seeing that Sandoval and Ariana conversation,
it was tough to watch. It
made me like feel angry.
Yeah.
This was like the first time, like, post learning about Sandoval, where I truly, like, I was like shocked, of course, but like this was the only moment so far where I felt like a little bit of anger, like I was ready to punch Sandoval.
Yeah, just because of how he's acting.
What a good actor, man.
Already knowing what you've done and what you probably just did something the night before.
Yeah,
too.
and that's the thing is, like, I just can't help but think, like, okay, so what if, like, you and Ariana started to get your shit back together? Like,
I don't think they ever would have.
I don't think he would have allowed it. I think he would have kept going.
Yeah.
But
I think he was trying to set the groundwork to get
and then,
out
like,
of that
when he said on Howie Mandel or whatever, like, well, I tried to break up with her several times. If this was one of those moments, bro, this was not, and it, like, I understand why she was so pissed, because this did not seem like you were trying to break up with her at all. It seems like you were trying to fix it. So
we go to the next episode with James.
We are not there yet.
Not there yet. The next scene with James and Allie, he's getting ready for Imagine Festival. He's super hyped. Allie's telling him that she wants him to see a therapist.
Yeah.
Because of his
outbursts.
Anger and outbursts and all that kind of stuff.
She's so good for him.
I don't think he wants to.
He's going to do it, though, because he loves her.
He's going to do it. He said, I'll
just
make
like
some phone
he
calls
stopped drinking for Raquel. Remember that?
Yeah.
I mean,
he's drinking a little bit now, but he's got it under control.
This is what I love about James. James is significantly younger than the other guys on the show. And when he's in a relationship, we actually see James trying to put in some work in order to, like, make his significant other happy. And that's you're never going to have a good relationship if you're not going to put in the work to make the other person happy. It's not all about you. And, like, here we are again. James is, like, putting in the work to make Allie feel comfortable and happy. And, like, I love him for that. I really do. He's like the most, somehow James is the most stable guy on the show. And he seems like he's not stable, but I feel like he is. Like, in his life, he has a career. Like, he's not just on this show. Like, he has a career. He has, like, his own place that is, like, put together. Like, look at Schwartz's apartment.
Oh, it's a mess.
And look at James's apartment. Like, it looks like an actual, like, grown-up lives there. Like, I'm just really, I really love him.
And they make fun of him for being a DJ, but, like, that's what pays the bills. Like, he's doing a good job.
And yet, look at Pauly D, dude.
Yeah.
Like, he was DJing back in the day. What is he still doing? He's still DJing. And making really good money off of it. Like, that is a career.
Yeah.
And he's doing more, like, at least he has a DJ booth and books gigs. It's more than the Schwartz and Sandoval have.
Yeah. And he's doing this festival.
And he's not, like, $1 million in debt right now.
That's true. They're probably way more than that.
I'm just saying, like, they make it seem like, oh, you're just a DJ. Like, booking Imagine Festival is a big deal.
Mm-hmm. Even if you're, like, one of the low guys on the bottom, you're there.
Booking a gig at a restaurant one day a week is a big deal.
Yeah,
to be able to be asked back.
He's contracted at, is it Pump or Sir?
Sir.
It's Sir.
See you next Tuesday.
Yeah, it was for See You Next Tuesday. Yeah, he's contracted
and I'm sure there's other ones that we don't know about, but, like, we know a lot of, like, local musicians. To have a gig at like a bar?
Same day every week. Like,
That's a big deal.
That's
a career.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. I don't get why they make fun of him. I honestly feel like he does more than anybody else does. What does anybody else do? I mean, Sheena has, like, her podcast and stuff, and her and Brock have, like, a little bit of, like, a routine thing going on.
Well, they got the family thing going.
But, like, to me, James is the only one with an actual career outside of the show. Like, if the show ended tomorrow, what would all of their careers be?
Well, I mean, the Toms have the restaurant.
They don't have the restaurant.
Well, they have Tom.
A very small piece. That is Lisa Vanderpump's restaurant.
Yeah, true.
Okay? They do not have a career.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Either does Katie.
It's true.
Either does Ariana. Sheena doesn't really have a career, I wouldn't say, outside of the show.
Yeah.
James is the only one that if that show ended tomorrow, he could just book a bunch more gigs and he'd be fine.
That's actually probably very true. So
what are we talking about?
Well, no, we're getting into the good stuff now.
All right. I just don't want to stop talking about James.
There's something about her is the preview. They're doing the preview to the sandwich shop.
This is also why I love James. We're just going to keep talking about James. Because James is about to leave for this festival. They literally had their bags packed and like are getting a car from this little event to leave. And he still showed, like he could have totally skipped that and been like, sorry guys, can't make it. Like gotta catch a flight. And they still came.
Yep.
And supported
they grabbed
Katie
the sandwich,
and
they
Ariana.
took one for the road.
Yes, and this is why I like him, and this is why I do get kind of pissed when no one else supports James. James is so supportive of everyone else.
Yeah.
And I do get kind of mad when they don't do that for him. Because, like, that was an event. It wasn't even really an event, right? It was a table set up with some sandwiches in an empty restaurant.
And then everybody went to serve.
But, like, he definitely could have skipped it. And he didn't. And I feel like, you know, that's credible.
It is. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
So it's everybody's kind of showing up. The Toms are walking up.
Well, Schwartz is like nervous that he's not invited.
Yeah.
And he's like, Ariana did invite me, right? Like, and so I loved that because he's already being freaking weird.
And I mean, they got there and it seemed fine. Like he actually showed up.
He had
flowers
for
Katie.
Ariana and Katie.
Well, Sandoval had flowers for Ariana. And Schwartz had flowers for Katie.
I don't know why I thought Schwartz had flowers for them both. That was Sandoval.
Yeah, but he actually gave them to Katie.
Sandoval's
she was not as cold as she has been towards him when he gave her the flowers.
She was cold.
She was, but not as
She said thank you, I think.
She did. She spoke.
That's like embarrassing. She said thank you, so that was as warm as she could be.
She spoke. But it was a quick little gathering. There wasn't really much
over Katie. I don't
going
know.
on there. So let's just get out of this whole thing and get to the good stuff.
Okay.
So everybody heads over to Sir.
The most uncomfortable.
Yes.
More uncomfortable than After the Beach. Somehow.
More uncomfortable.
I just want to know, like, what Raquel's MO was this entire end of this episode.
I don't know.
So first she's like talking to Ariana at the garden bar.
Yes. Which was really awkward because she just
wait.
asking.
I wanted to actually rewatch this scene before we did this tonight and I forgot. Because wasn't this the scene in all the blogs where Ariana said like that she thought maybe Sandoval was cheating on her and Raquel said if he were I would be there for you. That didn't happen, right? In this scene, in this episode?
I don't think. Maybe it was in the never before seen footage. You know how they have that other episode that rolls?
Because if it happened, I missed it. And I was going to ask you. But that was like the scene that they kept showing of them at the garden bar when Ariana, like, and you could tell that was like kind of like, Raquel seemed like she was prying.
Right.
Like, are you guys good? And like, you know, like people go through dry spells, but like, are you attracted to him? Like she was asking some really weird questions. And this is where like Ariana had to be onto something after this. Like you
gotta be.
I know this is your friend, but like also like my friend wouldn't ask me those questions.
Not at a bar.
No, like in general.
In general, yeah.
My friend would not be like, oh, but like, are you still attracted to him? Like, it seemed like, this is the narrative that it seemed like to me. Like, the new fling asking the ex-fling if there was still something going on.
Yeah.
It seemed like the new girlfriend reaching out to the old girlfriend, like, do you guys still talk? Like, because she's feeling, like, uncomfortable that things aren't done.
Right.
With, like, that was what it seemed like.
So it must be, Tom must have been giving her some information saying, like, oh, well, we don't really talk anymore.
I'm
We're
sure
not really
because
close.
especially if they're getting as close as they have been,
right.
I'm sure they, like, because you have to remember, he's a narcissist, so now he's going to start grooming Raquel.
Right.
Into thinking that what they're doing is okay. And I'm sure that that's how he handled it was like, because she probably felt some guilt, like, but she's my friend, so this is wrong. And he was probably like, it's fine because I'm gonna break up with her, and we haven't like slept together in so long. We're not intimate. We're not happy. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna end it. Like, we all know, everybody who knows a narcissist knows damn well what he was saying to her.
Yep.
And so we know where this information came from, but even Ariana seemed like a little bit taken aback. I felt like almost like she didn't know how to answer some of the questions or something.
She was kind of.
But I'm really confused because now I'm wondering, because when this episode ended, they were still at the restaurant.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that's going to be in the finale.
It might be.
Where Ariana, because I
this was
know
only a small portion.
In the blogs, they, like, Lala was the one that was like, when you see Raquel when you see Ariana saying to Raquel that she suspects that, like, Tom might be seeing someone else, and Raquel says, and if he were, I would be there for you. And she was like, and this is like, there's something wrong with this person. Like, that was Lala, like, on her Instagram stories.
Right.
So, like, I know that happened. And I thought it was here, and now I'm like...
It could be in the finale, because this episode ends in...
This was supposed to be the finale, and it was supposed to be, like, the big blow-up with Schwartz and Katie and Raquel. Right. And that's definitely... You can see where they were going with it.
Right.
But now that we know what we know, it's like, fuck Schwartz and Katie. Let's get into the good stuff, because that's why I was like, I'm so over this. Because that's where, after Ariana and Raquel are talking, Raquel goes and sits with Katie. That's why I said, like... What the hell was she doing?
She was just... It
then
felt
she
like
goes
she
and
was
sits with
stirring
Katie.
stuff up.
Yes.
For what? Like to
like
boost the finale?
But also why? If you're hooking up with Sandoval, why do you feel the need to have a conversation? If you were like... Okay, if she was planning on maybe having something with Schwartz, I could understand her still attempting to talk to Katie, like...
I don't think she can understand why she can't get through to Katie. She can't.
Nobody can understand why they can't get through to Katie.
But
that's who Katie is.
She can't say something, and Katie can't respond normally. Katie just flips out and yells.
So the conversation is kind of like that. Raquel obviously doesn't really feel bad for Katie, and she feels more bad for Schwartz in the situation. She made that very clear. But also, like, you're separated. You're getting a divorce. Like, why do you care? Apparently, Katie was, like, hooking up with someone while Schwartz was still living there. Because Sandoval came over and, like, threw that in there. Yep. Definitely, I think it was them trying to deflect. Like, definitely still trying to put all the focus on Schwartz and Raquel to keep it off of them personally. But, like, she's, like, telling Katie, like... Well, now you're, like, holding the dogs against him, like, saying, like, if he doesn't apologize, you're not going to let him see the dogs, and, like, you know, you can't, it's not your place to tell Schwartz who he can and can't hook up with, and I don't disagree. Like, yeah. I don't, coming from Raquel, it doesn't really hold much weight now, because it just doesn't, but if that didn't happen, it would have, because I do feel like Katie doesn't really have the ground to stand on, like, telling Schwartz who he can and can't. Listen, they had this verbal agreement not to hook up with anybody in the group, but, like, you're not together. So you really can't be mad at or control somebody anymore.
Yeah. And Tom did it knowing full well what was, like, he did
says
it
that he didn't know what it was going to be.
The flashback of him saying,
the forbidden fruit.
You're the forbidden fruit. Like, I just have to do it. Just.
And this is, like, I'm going to say this over and over and over again. I do think Schwartz knew the whole time. At first, I'm like, well, maybe he didn't know until after Mexico. He knew the whole time. And unfortunately, because he is Sandoval's lapdog, like, I think he took the heat. Yeah. So that Sandoval didn't have to get it. And listen, like, we know Sandoval's a narcissist. And unfortunately, like, that goes for his friendship with Schwartz as well. Like, he's definitely groomed Schwartz to be whatever he wants him to be. Mm-hmm. And it's really sad because Schwartz is good to Sandoval.
Yeah.
So I do think, and we're going to see in the finale, there's going to be a moment where I think somebody asked Schwartz, when did you find out? And Schwartz is like, I don't know. And you could tell, like, so it's like, it's Andy, Sandoval, Schwartz, Raquel. So Schwartz is in the middle of Tom and Raquel. And he's like, I don't know, like August. And you could see that like Raquel and Sandoval are like looking at him like, this isn't what we rehearsed. They're like, and Sandoval's like, August, man, August. And Schwartz is like, yeah, man. Like, so.
There's something.
Yeah, like he knew 100% Schwartz knew. And it sucks.
And he's dumb, so he's not going to remember what they rehearsed.
Yes, like he definitely like panics, right? So I think like whatever they told him, like Schwartz isn't really a good liar.
No.
So he's not going to be able to cover for them. And like he knows when he found out. And I feel like he can't lie about it.
Yeah.
But when we watched the reunion, or you saw the scene. So when you watch the reunion, I burped, I'm sorry. So if it smells like...
I don't smell it.
So, but like you'll see like Raquel and Sandoval kind of like...
looking weird.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep my eye out for that. So when we do this reunion, I feel like... I
want Ben to join us. Ben said all right, so Ben, my bestie... we watch a lot of the same shows. Unfortunately, Vanderpump Rules is not a show that Ben has ever watched, but he's very invested in Scandal. He does not want to go back and rewatch things, but he said 100% he will be watching the reunion, and he's very up to date.
He's been following our podcast from the day it started.
I've been explaining to him even like backstories, groundwork,
depth, right.
And he reads a lot of things like I do, so he's very well aware of what's going on. So I feel like I maybe want to see if he'll pop on with us for the reunions. Ben is also very familiar with like how production works and stuff, so I think that we could get a lot of insight from him on that aspect.
Yeah, that would be pretty
He's worked
cool.
on a couple of shows before, so like he knows. The Apprentice.
The Apprentice.
Yeah,
yep.
So he definitely understands like the back end. So I want to see if he'll do it with us.
Yeah,
at least for one of the reunions. Like, there's going to be a 3-part reunion, so maybe not all of them, but see if he wants to pop in for one of them and get his opinion on
Ben,
everything.
if you're listening, I need an answer in the comments now.
Well, you can get back to us. He's on vacation.
Oh, yeah. When you get back from vacation, you can answer me. All right. So let's continue with this.
I just am over this
The
scene.
garden bar happened. We talked about that. Raquel sitting with Katie. This gets super heated.
So heated because her mom chimes in.
Her mom chimes in, and Raquel is like, oh, God. About how her mom brought up like the conversation.
I don't disagree with being like, oh God, because and Sandoval wasn't wrong here, where he was like really like having Terry chime in. Like no one's gonna be arguing with Terry.
Yeah,
nobody's so it's not fair. It's not a fair fight.
Terry in her place.
Yeah, it's not a fair fight, and like just let Katie handle it.
Yeah,
but
then of course Sandoval sits down at this whole thing with them while Ariana's crying in Lisa's
walked up
bosom.
Ariana walked up to like Raquel and Katie and Terry like into it. Mm-hmm. And right now she's just so upset with her own personal life that like something like that, like that's enough to really break somebody. And it's hard for her because these are all her friends and all her friends are fighting. And then also Sandoval's getting involved.
Well, that's why she was crying. She said she's stuck in the middle because Raquel
like her friends hate each other
friend.
and then her boyfriend.
Katie's her business partner / good friend. Tom is involved in all of this, and she's just like, I just want to go home. I don't
blame her because that would be me. You know me. I'd be like, it's time to go. I gotta go. And Lisa has such a soft spot for Ariana and always will.
Yeah.
So to see her comforting her, like I almost wanted to cry because like I know how much she loves Ariana, and it's like I'm glad Ariana has her like to lean on, especially now, because she's gonna need her.
Yeah.
And like seeing that comforting moment made me feel a little bit better. Like just thank God she has like she does have a good support system for sure. But Katie's mom was annoying. Katie was annoying. And I'm just so over this like Raquel and Schwartz bullshit. Yeah. Because it was
hopefully in this pre-season finale, this is where this whole culmination of everything happened.
And it's like this is the only
we don't have to deal with this anymore.
I can't stand Katie. I really can't stand much of her being on my screen, but where I will give her that like tiny piece of my black heart is like she kind of didn't deserve all of this. Because it was for no reason, right? So, like, if, like I said, if Raquel and Schwartz really actually could have been a thing, number one, I would have been all here, like, completely there for it. If Raquel was the person we thought she was. Because I'm like, oh, they're both so nice and that would be cute. But it's kind of like Katie was just, like, used, I feel. Like, it's almost like her feelings got hurt for no reason. Because Raquel and Schwartz were never going to be a thing. And I do feel bad that she just got like the shit end of the stick and it wasn't necessary.
Right.
And that is the only moment I will feel bad for Katie. Only piece of why.
And this is just pretty much kind of how it ends. And you can see how this was supposed to be the finale.
Because Lisa gives this little speech about how she's seen them all grow and they're all like she's so proud of them, and that is normally how an episode would end.
Sorry, I don't know if it was cats, dogs, somebody took off running.
Frank's like,
I don't know.
Frank, you okay, buddy?
He's good. But so this episode ends. Guillermo brings out a cake for Lisa's birthday. They all sing. Lisa gets up and does this speech, like you were saying, talking about how they all grow, and you could tell it was supposed to be the finale. But
dun dun dun. So they even said, but they even said it at the end, like filming was supposed to wrap, and then when this like started to go down, the cameras went back up, and we will see it happen on the new finale. And then we will watch the reunion.
Yeah.
I'm just ready to see James call the Toms poo-poo heads. Poo-poo heads. Both of you. Poo-poo heads.
Well, we'll see it next week. Mm-hmm. And I hope we will see you guys next week when you tune into our podcast. Yeah. Dish It with Des.
Yeah, I am. I'm trying to debate like once, because I kind of just, I'm not podcasting about New Jersey anymore because I'm just so over it. But I'm trying to figure out what do we want to podcast about once VPR is kind of wrapped. I'm a big Atlanta fan. Atlanta just started, so I'm wondering if we should do that. But I also have to get a disc replacement surgery in my neck. So I also don't know if I should just take a break.
I think we might be taking at least the month of June.
I don't know. Off. You guys comment and let us know if like there is something that's out currently, like Atlanta or whatever, that you would like to see us continue to podcast about once like Scandival wraps up. Or
I'm a pretty good fan of the Atlanta women.
I love Atlanta.
I like Atlanta.
And it's one, like with Jersey, I was just so over it. But with Atlanta, like, there's always stuff to talk about. So I just feel like we should.
And New York starts up in July.
The new New York.
The new New York cast.
I don't know how I'm going to feel about it, but I'm excited.
But that's July. I think it was like July 19th or
I'm
17th.
Always ready for a change, so I'm fine with it.
So I feel like we're definitely going to bring that on.
I didn't podcast about the girls trip that was out, but when the one comes out with Caroline Manzo and Brandy Glanville, 100% we will be doing that. But what do you guys like? What do you guys want to talk about? We're here. We're open for any suggestions. And if you really don't want me to take a break, I will not. I will just be here in my neck brace. That's all.
Yeah.
You know, I'm cool with it. If I might be in like a recliner or something, but we'll do it. We'll figure it out.
I'll figure out the
It could always just be audio.
Yeah, that would suck. I think if you're podcasting with
my neck brace on,
you have a neck brace on, laying in a recliner.
That is dedication.
I think it would be great.
Yeah, so you just let us know. We want to know what you're interested in. We want to make sure that we are talking about things that you care about. And that is all.
Yeah.
Follow me on Instagram and Facebook at The Almost Daily Des. Bye.
Bye.